Hello and welcome to my progress report for the new Thunderhawk Gunship. I decided to do one of these. It'll just be a collection of different videos all in one of you know, the various stages of completion building the model. So what I've done is obviously I've gone away, I've washed all of the parts in warm soapy water, and I paid extra attention to wash the larger parts. I think I did it in probably two washes, so left it with some fairy liquid for a few hours, then rinsed it all off, then did it again just to make sure, because I know sometimes these larger areas have the releasing agent and the absolute can be a pain to sort of remove. So after that's all dry, I then clip them off all the, you know, the large gates and stuff, you know, the rods that are connected. If you've seen the unboxing video, you know what I'm talking about. And now I'm at the stage where it's all dry, and I'm about to start cutting each piece, make sure all of the mold lines and things are off, and like for instance these, look, so that you get a nice you know, cut those off, and so that you get a nice clean fit. The first thing you actually build on this is the front and the door. The door is very satisfying, it fits perfectly, no issues whatsoever. Then you sort of will glue the these here. I'll just show you. I'm going to make these videos sort of as long as I can, really. So I think that goes like that. Look, very, very simple. And I think to get the door to open and close is just, it's a must, really. But you've got to make sure that it's right so that it doesn't overlap. But that does stay in, or it should stay in absolutely fine. No wobble or anything. I think the door is one of the best bits, a bit like the Mastodon, the way that they've done that. I mean, they could have just had it on a hinge, and then, you know, you could either have it open or closed shut. But there you go, they've taken that extra time. You don't glue that on first, you actually glue this interior bit. It's up to you whether you want to spray it first and then glue it in. I'm just going to glue it and build the whole model, and then spray and try and paint some interior. It's a model that you can't, like the Mastodon, take off and look inside anyway. So there you go. But the Stormbird, I've painted the interior. So there we go. It's very simple design. What I mean by that is it's simple in its how you put it together. So you've just got the top fuselage and then the bottom fuselage, and that pretty much goes on like so. And then you attach this rear fuselage together, and then you sort of then attach it like so. That will go together. And the door and the front will sort of go in like that. And then what you've got, without sort of banging it about too much, is you've got this thing that sort of clips onto both of the sections, and then you've got the wings that will sort of sit underneath it like that at a bit of an angle. These actually go further back, probably about there actually. I hope this is useful for you, for people that, you know, can't get a Thunderhawk or will get one when it's released. So that'll go like so. Got one of these big boxes, one of these big red boxes, actually full of the rest of the parts. And one of the parts, which I'm drastically trying to find, well, a few of the parts actually, is these thrusters, or the intakes. So they'll go in like that. They need a lot of work though. So we'll go something like that. And then you've got these as well. which there's a whole sort of section here to attach these onto, so you can have them in that position or flat, whichever way you want. Oh yes, this is what I was after. So the main turbo laser, I think that sort of goes in that way from what I have seen. I mean, initially I thought it went in like that, but there's just not enough room for those rods, so it does go like so. And then the top canopy goes on like so. This bit goes underneath it. That's one of the key things not to forget to obviously put on. And this is like the third thruster at the rear on the underside. You've got these air brakes, which are again one of the first things that you place this inside there, and then it's really clever because you just glue the air brake on like that. You can only glue sort of one way, and then you can Darren's designed it so that you can open them or close them. You don't need to, you know, glue them in place. I mean, you can glue them in place if you wish, but I think that's really awesome that he's done that. So they will go there, and they can be opened or closed. Oh, this is the upper vertical stabilizer. The rudder is somewhere, but that goes like so. So there you go. Just gonna have it resting there. So already you're getting some kind of idea of, you know, the size of the model. It's not a massively huge model or anything. It's pretty big, yeah. So the next steps, cut all the bits of flash and, you know, like those little bits from where the rods were, cut all of those off, then file it down, look for any slippage, mold lines, anything like that, clean all that up, and then I'll be ready for the dry fit process, where I'll be fitting all the pieces. It's a very good model in the sense that a lot of sort of gaps and things are hidden. They've specifically designed it like that, which is excellent, and I'm all up for that on, you know, all the other models. Then after the dry fit, make sure all the parts, I probably won't need a hairdryer for any of these parts actually to, you know, heat them and bend them. Then what I'll do is I'll just glue it all together. The only thing I probably would leave off is probably this canopy. I'm just going to have that resting on there because I'll spray the guys in there and I'll, you know, paint all of the interior. I'll probably paint this separate, and then I can't really magnetise it because you're going to see a magnet in there unless I paint this top bit, which I probably will do, in which case I could somehow magnetise it, but we'll see. We'll cross that hurdle when we get to it. Just for the complete build, I'll glue it all and leave this off, and then I'll show you it in my review. But what I'll do is I'll do all those processes now, and I'll show you it when I'm at the dry fit stage. Okay, so I may have skipped ahead a little bit with the dry fit stage. I actually dry fitted the model after I cleaned up all of the parts, and then, like with most of the models that I make, I sort of get caught up in the fever of making them from one challenge to the next, and so on and so on. So I'm now at the stage where it's pretty much complete. I've just gone and done the review. I'm not going to talk about the model in that sense, but I am going to give you some extra sort of content that isn't in the review in terms of the individual pieces and whether I had any problems with it. So I'm looking at it from I'm looking at it from that sort of point of view. So the first thing, the door, or the front assault ramp, I focused on that. That was the first piece of the model I sort of finished. I did magnetise it in the end. I put a magnet in there, drilled a hole with a hand bit drill, and then super glued a magnet in there. It's quite flush. There's also a magnet in that doorway there in this piece, so that when you close it, it's quite strong. It's certainly strong enough to keep that door closed. So that was the first sort of, I'll say, hurdle. Things later on, these have been glued like they're supposed to, so they're not magnetised and they are supposed to move. These are Sponson heavy bolters at the front of the Thunderhawk. The gun, I decided not to magnetise it. The turbo laser, just glued that in place. That was fine. I'll just remove these because I talk about these in the review. But what I then did is after sort of sorting the nose area out, I actually found it easier gluing all of the bottom section. I think it comes in two parts. There's this long piece here, and then there's this part, and then there's this third joiner bit. I actually found it easier to glue these three parts and then glue this piece on, and then sort of slide this in and glue it to this and the lower, the upper fuselage and the lower fuselage, rather than glue both the upper pieces, which is what it tells you to do in the instructions. That is because I originally actually glued the top two and found that it had bent a little bit. I thought it was quite straight, this join, but in reality this front part was higher up. I didn't like that at all, so I sort of broke it, not snapped it, but just broke it while it was gluing and things. No damage. And then I just decided to put this top piece on and use a hairdryer to sort of gently melt it into place while the glue was setting. Hairdryer, even though it's a large model, it does work. Just give it a bit more time than usual. You may burn your fingers sort of trying to move it about and stuff, but it does work, and it is worth it in the long run. The only sort of gaps I've got is just this big gap running down here, which is easily solvable with a load of green stuff on either side. It's worse this side than the other side, I think, but that's the only issue, which I think is remarkable for a model this large. I think the designer uses the word differential shrinkage. Excellent. So that was the issue there with the front and the lower. Everything else went fine. The wings, obviously the intake and the thrusters, the missiles are fine. I'll just show you the undercarriage. Glued the Space Marines in, fine. Cockpit, fine to sort of clean up. Yeah, so when I pretty much finished all of it, well, I did the landing gear first after the wings and things had set. Then I did all the little retro thrusters, just with dabs of super glue, nothing too heavy. The door, you could magnetise that, but I decided to leave it shut. So the feet, I thought I was going to have a load of problems with the feet, but I actually did the 3 feet in an evening. That was fine. They're rock solid. Yes, you could drill a hole there, put a big rod in, or whatever, and mount it to a base, make a custom base. The actual front foot, I thought I'd done it wrong because it looks sort of back rather than front, what I'm used to with a Thunderhawk or vehicle, either parallel or to the front, but it's actually supposed to be on the back because the hinge joint is at 90 degrees. So they were fine. Another big step which I wanted to do is I didn't want to glue the heavy bolters in place, so for both of them, this and the other side, I've actually put a small magnet in there. It's quite a strong magnet, needs to be, because the magnets aren't flush, and magnets work best when they're connected, when they're joining, if that makes sense. Quite easy to operate. You just pull the heavy bolter clips down and just put that magnet in there, just super glue on there. The super glue's more than strong enough to hold that, and you can move the heavy bolter and move it up and down. So that's a good little tip. You're more than welcome to use my genius tips. Right, so that's all done there. The air brakes, I just followed the instructions with them, so you can it is a bit of a kerfuffle sort of getting them out, but once they're out, it's worth it because they stay out, and that works fine with the instructions, the way that they've done that. And then the final piece before I go is just the piece that I haven't sort of finished yet, which are the attack wing positions. Now I'll talk about these in the review quite heavily actually, so I won't talk about them too much here, but the short of it is that I'm planning to put a couple of rod magnets in there, hopefully of a good sort of strength, so that when it is in that high position, it will follow magnets that are through there and probably into the hull, so it will just stay in place. Because having this moving about, is, I think, a really cool feature that they've kept, because when you put it down there, it obviously then just goes central again. So the only two parts I've really got to work on is just the green stuff, which I'm about to do now, and then I've already put my order in for a load of magnets, some rod magnets. I'm going to go for about 1 kilogram pull. I know that's quite strong, but this thing is it's at such a funny sort of shape and angle that I do want some 1 kilogram pull magnets for that. It might be a bit overkill, but I'd rather have it be too strong than sort of too weak. So that's it for my sort of progress update and things. Apologies that I sort of jumped to me finishing the model, especially after reviewing things, but I thought I'd get this out to you before that video as a little something before it hits on Wednesday. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.